What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are doing well. Today, we're going to be doing a reaction video to Weak3n reacting to Hi-rez reacting to his original video of him talking about the state of Smite 2. So basically, we're going to be talking about the state of Smite 2, player numbers, things that we think that Hi-rez can be doing better. For the perspective of Weak3n, I'll give you my critique, my perspective of that, and of course, what Hi-rez is thinking, and the same thing when it comes to that. So a lot of reacting going on, but I might end up rambling and just talking about stuff when it comes to Smite and gaming in general right now. So that's gonna be the video. But before we get into it, I just want to say I've been having a lot of fun with Smite 2. I think it gets better with every single patch. If you guys have been coming to my stream, I've been streaming like 12 hours a day, a lot. In fact, this is my only day off in like a few weeks, so I figured I'd do a reaction video, record this off stream. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Smite 2. I've been playing a lot of Deadlock. I've been playing a lot of Valorant. I've been playing scary games, and I've been having fun with every single thing. So the thing is, like, I've been enjoying Smite 2 a lot, but I find it hard to get better at that game because I've been playing it for so long and I'm at a pretty high level. I'm kind of more addicted to like Valorant and Deadlock because I'm not as good at those games, and I feel like I can improve, and there's like a lot of like improvement from day to day that I can actually see, and that's really addicting, you know? So that's part of the reason I've been just playing other games right now, but just wanted to put it out there that I have been having a lot of fun with Smite 2 recently, and I think the game's a lot of fun. I've actually even been playing it off stream, which I barely ever did in Smite 1. I've been playing Assault with friends off stream, like I said. Barely ever did that in Smite 1 throughout all of my career, playing SPL and all that. So yeah, just want to put that out there before we get into this video. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but yeah, that's basically it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Switch screens here. This is a long video, so we're probably going to up the playback speed on this one a good bit. Where is this thing? We're at normal right now. Let's go to 1.5 for now. Maybe we'll even speed it up more. Hopefully you guys can understand everything they're saying as we go through it. But yeah, Weak3n reacting, Hi-rez reacting. They actually watched his video about his critique and responded to it, which I think is already really cool. And one more thing before we get into the video, because it kind of goes to what is about to happen. Hi-rez is really transparent right now. They're doing a lot of Titan talks, talking about everything, their development, what they want to add into the game, listening to community feedback, a lot of community feedback, sometimes to their own detriment. And also Hi-rez, this like term Hi-rez, this company name that we're talking about, really all it is now is a bunch of like passionate devs that are still there, like Clumsy, Pawn, people like Kilgoon, Hindu now, like a bunch of people who are really passionate that had nothing to do with the horrible past decisions that were made at that game, decisions like Stu and stuff like that. So when you come into this thinking about like Hi-rez, this like amorphous company and this big conglomerate that made a bunch of horrible bad decisions, spent a bunch of money that they shouldn't have, blah blah blah, you got to realize that none of the people that you're critiquing even really work there anymore. They had nothing to do with decisions that were horrible for our game, our SPL, all of that. So keep that in mind. It's a lot of people who are just really love the game, are trying to make it better, who are working overtime to do that. So there's a real human aspect to this that I feel like people are missing out on because they just want to go over to the Reddit and complain about monetization and complain about like how they're just the worst company ever when most of the people there had nothing to do with all that stuff in the past. So just wanted to put that out there before we get into the video. Okay, I think it needs to be said because I feel like people are being kind of stupid with that kind of thing. But anyway, let's get into it. Hopefully we have good volume here.
Like the first 15 minutes of it. I think it's like 20 minutes long. I watched, and then the show was happening.
Yeah,
so
so you had to jump out.
Yeah, I also watched Intersect's video.
Oh, I didn't know Intersect made a video. I legit had no idea. Because we recorded the State of Smite video like 4 days ago, or 3 days ago. That's what I see the title of Intersect, because I didn't even know. What do we need for Smite 2's full release? Okay, so kind of the same account. I mean, I guess same.
Yeah, I think Intersect's video is more talking about when Smite 2 actually fully comes out and it actually is released, what the game should, like what state the game should be in at that point, not so much what Weak3n was doing. Weak3n's video, I think, was more so like critiquing the current state of the game, its content, the rewards, and just the whole ecosystem, how it interacts with each other. So I'm gonna be pausing a lot.
General context.
Yeah,
I'm just reacting.
And I think that like the reason for it, right, is like the numbers have been gradually trending up. Like, let me just say, I hate that Steam makes numbers visible because it's so hard to interpret the very limited amount of data that they give you of like.
I agree with this take without even hearing more, but the difference is we feel it. I genuinely don't like just staring at player numbers unless they're hyper low. But as someone who plays the game every day, I can feel it. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I said that in the video. Like, I get that the numbers are stupid to stare at, but I can feel that we have bad matches.
It's not just that it's bad matches, I think, for Weak3n. I don't think you mentioned it here, but it's also just the viewership. Like, viewership is at an all-time low on Twitch. People just really aren't as interested in watching the game right now. And same thing goes over for YouTube. There's still like a decent amount of people who are interested in that stuff, but it's just not, like I said, it's like the lowest it's ever been. You know, I used to be able to, just being honest here, brutally honest, because that's part of this discussion. I used to be able to turn on my Smite 1 stream and within an hour have like 1,000 viewers. But now, like, I struggle to even get, if I stream Smite for like 6 hours, I struggle to get over like 200 viewers on the category. So it's just at an all-time low. So I think it's part of it as well. I think if the matches were pretty subpar, but you were still getting a ton of viewership, I think we can probably would care less. But I think it's both of these things coming in. And I think they go hand in hand, right? The quality of matches is worse than
what's the number of
Golden
people
Kappas
playing the game
at this moment,
and how does that transfer into how many people are playing the game in a month, right? Because if people are playing for fewer days a week because they got busy with school or other games or something, then your CCU is going to go down, but you might have the same number of people playing in the course of a month, right?
So login's the same, but play at any given time.
See, they're looking at how many people play their game in a month because they'll end up making the same amount of money as long as that person logs in during the month. But the players feel it in the day-to-day when enough people don't log in each day. That's a problem.
You also, I hate to say it, but you want people to get addicted to your game. Like, you want them to want to improve so much that they want to log on each day and improve just a little bit. Like I said, I was just talking about with Deadlock and Valorant and stuff like that. Like you want that. You don't want them to just be like, I'll play with my friends, like maybe every Saturday. Like you want some of those, like a lot of those people you want. But if you want your game to be competitive and to really grow and to really get like a huge fan base and get back to like where we were with SPL and everything, you really need like that kind of player base.
Like there's just a lot of context that's missing from that. But I think that everybody sees, like if you are obsessed about the Steam numbers, as a lot of gamers seem to be, that September trending down a little bit when previously
worked out and mowed the lawn, so I'm dehydrated, sweat a lot. But anyway, sorry.
We've been kind of trending up and up and up, right?
Sure.
And I think people are like, oh no, I'm worried, right? Historically, every year of Smite's history, back when Stu was running the show, right? It would be like, doom and gloom.
Was
September,
running
October,
the show,
right?
I remember the exact opposite, bro. I like specifically remember the exact opposite. It does seem like August has slightly higher numbers and then September has slightly lower numbers, but it's really hard to tell with these graphs going up and down very dramatically. But it looks like, did Hi-rez always drop a summer patch, or was there a summer LAN?
There was always a mid-season
Chris,
patch.
yes, there's a mid-season patch. That's why the numbers were always higher in August. You can see it go, in July it goes down, and August it always goes up. And then it like stabilizes instead of actually going back down. So that's not necessarily true, and we're leaving out context that a massive mid-season patch would always hit every year. So is that...
Well, also the context is that like Worlds was in a few months, and the big like playoffs push towards Worlds was happening in like October and November and stuff like that. So people were still interested in the SPL and they wanted to play because of it. So, and the streamers were still playing the game. So there is some context missing there, even for Weak3n, like what he's talking about. But I do think in general this is like a downtime for Smite a lot of the time. People waiting for like that new year, that new big map maybe that was coming out, or the new big season from the past like 10 years of Smite 1. So.
Is it really fair to say this is the same situation when there was a mid-season patch every year for 10 years that affected the player base in those months?
Situation, no matter what.
Player numbers for our game have always trended down in September. Like kind of like depends on the year, but like between the very beginning and middle of September, and they start to come back.
That's because patch goes up, player base spikes, stabilizes.
Like middle end of October usually, just because of like a number of things. Part of it is like seasonal trends of people going back to school. A lot of people either like. Whether you are a person who is still in school and you're going back to school, whether you have kids who are going back to school, a lot of people's general like flow changes, and the amount of time that they play per week.
Wait, he sped up the video.
Can be affected.
I sped up his video.
I agree with that in a common sense space, but I feel like that has been incorrect. Like that's just not how it actually plays out. From my perspective, from creating content and doing this for so long, end of summer starts to come along, and the player base goes down a little more than it already has during the summer because people are out. They're on vacations, they're taking breaks. The end of the summer comes along, or like the beginning of August comes along, people go on their last vacations, then they're inside from the middle of August until, whatever, because school's starting. They're not outside playing, and they don't have all kinds of crazy shit going on. Interesting fact here, though, September, October, November is the highest rate of released popular video games over the last decade. See, so that contradicts that. That means these bigger companies are saying, hey, we're going to have better player bases. Look at how many games came out this month.
I don't know if it's actually because of that. I mean, that is an interesting thing to note. Like, all these big games always come out in, like, October, November, and stuff like that. A lot of games just came out. That's probably part of the reason a lot of people aren't as interested in Smite 2 right now. But I think it's because of like the holidays and people, that's when they're going to make the most amount of money. It's not that they're actually going to have the most players at that time when the game comes out. It's just that their overall like return on investment will be a lot better because a lot of people are going to buy them for like Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, blah, 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 all that stuff that you buy gifts for, I guess. So yeah, I think that's mostly why, but.
So are we really thinking people aren't playing games? I don't.
And if they release it a couple months early before Christmas, so they can fix a lot of the stuff that maybe is broken with the game before it actually, comes Christmas time and, people actually are playing.
I'm pretty sure this is inaccurate.
This is the time of year when almost all of the like big, highly anticipated releases drop, right?
That is true. We've already talked about that. Big games do take away a little bit. Not wrong. You can't say that's not true.
Like, Borderlands
that's
4,
definitely happening right now.
We're both top 5 games on Steam. Dying Light actually did really well.
Yeah.
Hades 2, like EAFC, Esports FC came out today.
Yep.
It's just like every couple days for that period.
Didn't it mention NBA 2K?
you have 6 soon. Silent Hill just came out. I think the remake of Tales of the Sky did really well. Like, there's just insane games dropping every couple of days. And then there's also like some, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Mega Blanc. This is like the breakout game. Like, it has a kind of curve that's just like.
I'm playing that game that I
To
like.
be fair,
Unless we do
games, like, no matter, there's always going to be single player games to play, and these types of games that are going to be alongside. Like, none of those are like competitive MOBA type games, and some people are going to be drawn away from Smite because of that. But I don't know if he mentions it maybe later on, but like, it has to be said, just being objective, like Deadlock is definitely stealing some Smite players right now. Like, it just straight up is. Like, it's not quite the same game. I think both can have different audiences because I do think they're different. Like, I think you'll play one game or the other for different reasons a lot of the time. But I do think it's stealing some players for sure. And I think it kind of scratches that same itch that some people probably wanted with Smite when it comes to like being a bit high skill, competitive MOBA. So
anyway, like, this is the time of year where people go play some other stuff for a little while because the new stuff comes out. Most of them don't stop playing Smite.
See, there's accuracy in what he's saying in my mind. Like, I agree. But I think we're missing out on the fact that there is actual proof and evidence where people are saying the game is not exciting, I'm not playing it. Where veteran players are not playing the game because there's nothing to do. Like, there are people telling us this. So while this is a good, like, just looking at numbers explanation, what about the rest of the information?
Play it less frequently. You know, like maybe I'll play a game a week instead of playing several days a week because I'm doing other stuff.
Things, yeah.
But then historically, we always see people tend to come back end of October, right? So,
all right, clip this end of October. Clip this and see if our player base is increased by then. I hope they're right, and I'm all for it. I'm on the train. But let's jump back at the end of October.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, what Weak3n's saying is right though. Like, it's just the high end side of Smite 2. Again, I'm just being honest and objective, and I'm not trying to critique anybody. Everybody has different priorities and stuff. Like, the actual competitive side of Smite 2, like the people that are in the higher ranks now, just like, it's just not the same as Smite 1. Like, honest take, I just think a lot of the people, and a lot of you guys are probably the exception. The one listening to this right now is about to hear what I'm about to say. You're probably the exception to this, but I think a lot of people that are in like the higher ends of ranks now, like maybe even Masters or like High Obsidian or Demigod or whatever, like probably at best were like Plat and Smite 1. Again, you're the exception, don't worry. But that's just like my honest take about it, and I think that's an issue. Like, it actually feels like the level of competitiveness, just even in like ranked and stuff, is just way lower than it was before. And I think that's because, you know, obviously because a lot of the higher end players and the competitive players just aren't as interested because they realize if there's no SPL or like a real driving force at the higher end to play for, they are probably better suited to play something else if they're trying to do it for that.
We aren't as panicked about the numbers going down this month as the community as a whole is, right? Just because this is...
I'm not panicked in the slightest. If I came off that way, then it just wasn't true. Like, that's not how I am. That's not where my mind process is. My process is the game feels worse, and it's not staring at numbers that's making it feel worse. It's the amount of people not playing the game. Like, it's not the staring at the numbers. It's my games feel like shit. I have to play customs.
Very normal for us. So transparency about that. Going into like some of the specific things that we was talking about, right? Our drops reporting. I think I can largely agree that our drops are consistent and there hasn't been anything interesting. But you've been working on some drops ideas. We're aware that...
Put me on the spot. We're aware of the community, like you're saying, the drops aren't interesting, but also what we can realistically do based off what we have in the pipeline, short-term, long-term, as well. And try to find ways around that. Because the coin system, while on paper it looks kind of dull, it's very interactable for the players to get something...
This is just not... Like, I love Hindu, but the players are telling you we're capping out. I mean, here, let me do this real quick. Bro, I don't watch streams. I do not watch streams. I'm not sitting here watching streams getting drops. I don't play casuals and I don't play ranked. You have to buy this to even spend these. Before we even talk about the problem with that, I have 20,000. I don't even play the game. I don't play ranked or casuals. I have 20 and I don't watch streams. I have 20K. There's no world we're defending having infinite coins that you have to spend money on.
You can also buy them, I think, with legacy gems and... Like, yeah, you just get them, you already get them so easily in-game, which, by the way, to defend Hi-rez, like, there's so many free ways to get things in this game. The fact that people complain about monetization is actually insane to me. Like, you get free gems or free diamonds when you log in. You have all your legacy gems from Smite 1, which you still can use to buy the skins. With just a month delay, the game's not even out. You get free diamonds back when you level up God Ascension passes. And then you're getting drops. But it is definitely true that the drops right now are awful. If you could get like a cool skin, maybe even have like a super rare chance to get like a 6 skin, like that's a lot of drive for viewership. And drive for viewership is just drive for the whole ecosystem to make content, to show off the game a bit more. Like, It's all
Where
part
are
of
the free
marketing.
skins that every other game does? Why are we the only game that isn't just giving you a, hey, here's a fucking skin?
Themselves that they're interested in rather than just forcing one thing down the throat.
Yeah, and
is what I was saying.
Okay, so wait, is there any way to spend these for free? Now that you guys bring it up, is there any way you spend coins? Like, I can even click on coins to see what I can buy with them. There's no way to spend coins for free. How are we not? What? Is this the only game in the world that gives you something for drops that you have to spend money to use? So wait, you can use them here. Okay, as long as there's something you can buy. I assume that there is something you can buy. All right, good. So there is something you can buy, just not the new shit, which that's an argument made for someone
In
else.
this next update, we have kind
I
of
think
bigger,
that's fine. But what Hindu said there about it, well, you can just like use the coins on what you want to use them on. I actually don't know if that's like, exactly a positive, because like getting a bad skin drop versus getting a good skin drop, like that's part of the fun of it. Like you're the part of like the gambling of it in a way. You're not necessarily gambling because you're not putting any money in, but like just watching a stream, oh, you might get this like thing you actually don't care about, but you also might get this super rare skin that only like 1 in maybe 1,000 viewers has gotten. Something like that I think is actually really interesting and probably drives people more than just being like, oh, I could get a coin and here are my list of things I could maybe get with it.
We have kind of a bigger like addition to the wandering market system, which will give you more ways to spend coins and more rewards to have the whole thing. So we also think that those coins might become a more valuable drop here with the next update.
Or we can just take them out, and then we'll get rid of the coins, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. But I think that the method is we are looking at like how the coins are interacting with the system.
It's good that they're looking at it for
and then we
sure.
investigate too. But we are going to look at trying to various sort of drops. No guarantees on what those drops are at the moment. It's still very early days, but we'll see what we can do.
It's not just the drops being bad though that is part of the reason the viewership is so bad. Like there's just less interest in the game right now, sadly.
Over the next few months
I don't know
Even
the
though the
back
game has
end of
gotten
like going to
better.
Twitch. You know, we want drops in our game, this and that. I don't know how long that process takes. I could probably find out if I want to, because Hi-rez is making it seem like it's crazy difficult. In my personal opinion, I don't see the difficulty in recoloring a basic skin. Just a tier 2 shitty skin for a drop. I don't see the difficulty in that. Because like surely we are literally copy pasting the skin over and then we're changing the color code, right? Like it's already built. We're just changing the color code, right? There's no possible way that is difficult. So the difficulty has to be on Twitch's end, from what they're saying. I'll ask some people and see what the process is.
We saw change the drop to be more
You said some drops for some people and partner drops for others. Yeah, they did.
exciting for a streamer to want to stream and put drops in the title.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, you know, we're definitely not trying to like
Over the next few months to increase or change the drops to be more exciting for a streamer to want to stream and put drops in the title.
That was super backhanded from Hindu. I don't put drops in my title because I'm getting watched regardless. So that was pretty ignorant. Second problem with that is every other game has drops. Why is it some backhanded thing for streamers to want drops in Smite? Every other game I play has it. I have Borderlands message me daily.
I also don't know why Weak3n's said that. Like his viewership obviously would increase if he put drops in it, but he doesn't have to. Like he wants people to watch him for him, not just for drops or not just for the game that he's playing. He wants to grow like an actual audience for him, which is smart. But his viewership probably would increase if he put drops in it, just because people will watch him for him, and then there might be some people that see that he has drops in, and they'll just click his stream because of it, if those drops are good, right? But also what Indy said is like, yeah, it's not about that. It's like you just want there to be more inorganic or organic viewership. It doesn't matter, because a lot of those people who are inorganically watching streams just for this this skin or whatever it may be might end up being like, wait a second, that was actually pretty cool. I want to play that character. Oh, I learned that you could do this. This is actually really cool. I want to start grinding the game because of that. Like, oh, that skin is actually really cool that character has. I'm gonna go buy it now. Like, there's just so many things that could happen, like a ripple effect from just people being inorganically in a stream.
Shit, and new drops on Discord in their fucking partnership. What? Why is this like? Why is there some like I don't know the word I would use. Like I wouldn't say hostile, but like borderline. What?
It is
Rush just like quadrupled their viewership and their player base off of having a drop. All of them have drops in their title.
Tarkov every Christmas year or every new wipe, they do drops, and the viewer like people who usually get like 1,000 viewers have like 30,000 viewers. Some people got up to like 100,000. I think a couple Christmases ago that usually only had like 5,000, maybe even less. Like it was actually insane the amount of viewership they got from their drops. And again, that's not just trying to reward the streamers, although you should. The people making consistent content in your game and marketing your game, you should reward them. But it's more so like you should do this for your own company's benefit and your own game's benefit, because it'll give a lot of just organic and inorganic viewership and interest in the game. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, you know, we're definitely not trying to like screw the streamers with bad drops or anything, right? It's mainly just like, hey, haven't done anything new recently. We're aware of it. We're looking into it, right?
See, I agree with that. Just the really why did we get to this point? Why didn't we change the drops in 12 months? Like nobody thought, hey, we're getting bored. Like this is getting boring. People don't care about this.
Stuff that he talked about was like switching to like a monthly cycle instead of every 2-week cycle, right?
Right.
And I think that like there's certainly an argument to be made for that, right?
Was it mentioned like just switch to a monthly cycle and just keep doing what we're doing? Or
I think that his basic thought is that like if you switch to a monthly cycle, then you can have it, like if I'm releasing 2 gods every
Again,
month,
remember everything they're talking about is they're talking about stuff that's in the Weak3n video. So they're going over his points. Keep that in mind. So this thing they're talking about is them switching to a monthly patch cycle instead of a a weekly or a bi-weekly.
And then I've got whatever my gameplay beat is as part of that, right? It becomes a more obvious like marketing beat for players to rally around.
Yeah.
I would say we've had a lot of conversations internally about whether.
So before they even talk about it, they had to swap to the faster patches to save the game, and they did it. So my mindset is they did the faster patches to save the game. They did a month patch for years, for 12 years in 21, and they did a good job with it. I kind of feel like now's the time they can go back and get that going again.
Something like that is better, or whether sticking with our current path is better. Right now, I think we still feel like sticking with the current every 2 week path is better because like you aren't getting more content by holding it. It's literally like the only benefit to players is that it's a better marketing moment.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Right, because it's like
there's a bigger beat. Here's 2 new gods for you to play, all the new additions for the month. However, we could have got some of that out 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, because basically it's like instead of getting
So does that mean they could have done all the patches in Smite 1 every 2 weeks? They just didn't want to. Like I'm not like they're saying there's no reason to do this. So the flip side of this would be why did you do it like that with 500 employees in Smite 1?
I think it's a lot easier to patch now on UE5, and now that like they're all like accustomed to it because they've been working on it from the beginning, like a lot of them. So I think that's part of the reason, but also just to go over this like entire topic, like I honestly think if they switch to a monthly patch cycle and even release 2 gods with each patch and like a bunch of content, like people would just get tired of that and be like, I kind of want the other, like people are just kind of bored right now, like, and they just want something new and something fresh. So I'm sure even if that happened, I feel like we can probably after a little bit would be like, can we just like, I'm kind of bored of this. Can we go back to, it's just like, you just want something that's like fresh, you know what I mean? So
there had to have been some upside on their end. I kind of assumed content would be better. They'd have more time. There wouldn't be as many bugs.
Fineokay and then Osiris. It would just be, you don't get Fineokay here, wait 2 weeks. Here's Osiris and Fineokay at the same time. And, maybe you don't get, I'm blanking out because I'm like thinking like 3 patches in the future right now. But like the extra stuff that we shipped in the last patch, like you wouldn't get the Curio system. Yeah. Right? Like instead Curio system plus lobby plus, whatever else that, there's like,
yeah, it seems like it would just be the same thing, but just, you're just delaying it.
And maybe it's easier to make content around, maybe it's more exciting from a marketing perspective. Like I get that. But I think that like right now having regular additions to the game and constantly addressing players' feedback and feeling like
okay. An example of this in everyday life is like clothes, shoes, watches, my mouse pad, for example. If I can get it all the time, if I could just, if it's available every 2 weeks, it's over and over and over and over and over available, it's not exciting. All right. Excitement gets you to play a game. If I hear there's a new lobby coming, there's a new ward system coming, and I'm getting 2 gods, and I hear it today, then I'm gonna be like, I should get on the game and prep for this patch, right? Like, get ready for this patch so I'm good to go. And then I'm really focused on that, 2 weeks from now or whatever when the patch is gonna hit. But I'm playing now to get ready for that. That doesn't happen when it's just a regular god every 2 weeks.
Like there's constant progress and you're not like
I don't know. This is extremely hostile because I think they're looking at it like this affects content. It doesn't affect content at all. In fact, it's more content the way they're doing it because I can do a patch every 2 weeks. I can do a tier list every 2 weeks. I can do a new god drop review every 2 weeks. Like it's more content than necessary at this point, to be honest.
Okay, I have to wait a month for the next thing is more valuable right now for where we are. It doesn't mean that like I think
if that makes sense. If in the development process this is just better for them, makes sense. Good, great.
Doesn't mean what future doesn't mean that even.
I mean, it's just better that they can get all the like everybody's major gripe with Smite 2, even though there's a lot of gripes that are just so stupid that I'm just showing it. But the major gripe is that they just want the gods from Smite 1 and Smite 2. Like they just want them like full stop. So being able to like, especially with how small their dev team is, the fact that they're even putting a new god, but you know what I mean, port a god every 2 weeks into the game, like it's pretty insane. I think that's actually really, really good, and it's making the game better. It's part of the reason the game does get better every patch. So I don't know if I agree with Weak3n exactly about like that part, but when it comes to everything else, though, when it comes to like maybe just new items, mostly the map, like just like changing the map or getting a new map, getting new features of the map, new gameplay features and all that, like that's where I think this bi-weekly cycle is just a little dull because there's not as many like game-changing, like a lot of stuff to test. The most recent one we had that was really, really good was the healing patch where they took out anti-heal. They added all these new items. That was insane. That was so much fun for weeks. So it can happen. They've shown that they can do it, but
in a couple months we don't reassess, right? Yeah. But I think that just like for right now, this is a better.
Although I guess a little insider baseball. Let's just say that took a lot of work and a lot of extra effort and passion from the people that are still there at Hi-rez, who have nothing to do with all those horrible things that you guys hate them for. So keep that in mind.
I can see the argument for both. Like, listen, once a month patch means there's a bigger boost of people interested in playing it, but then you fall off after that first 2.5 weeks. Yeah. You're kind of falling off and then wait for the next.
But we're falling off after less than a week with the current state. That's the flip side. There's another side to this.
Another 2 weeks, which is a similar cycle. Yeah. So
So Titan Talk is really quiet.
Hopefully it's not quiet for you guys.
Yeah, you can
that better?
Good volume.
rather than 2, but yeah, I did.
There's pros and cons, right? Like I don't think that like you're wrong if you're suggesting that we should go to a monthly cycle instead, right? I think that there's even like most successful free-to-play games once they get to a certain
Wait, I'm
level
not
of polish,
sponsored by
right?
Gatorade.
Kind of are more like I have a big
This
patch
is,
every 10 to 12 weeks,
Yeah.
and it's like a big new season with a lot of stuff together, right? But I just don't think we're at some point. I would love to move to more of that kind of cycle because I think it's easier for players to engage with and get hyped about the thing. But I think right now in a game that like
Is still
actively being developed, I think that this is just still probably the right path for us. I'm not reading chat at all.
I think maybe I don't value, or like not value, I don't process how much development shit they're still doing. But at the same time, my question would be like, what is the development that's like so difficult now? Like obviously putting in a new god is difficult, but like that's difficult regardless of timeline. So what is it that 2 weeks is better for development?
Wait, skip the chat.
Sorry.
I mean, they're changing stuff about UI. Like they're changing the God lobby right now. They're changing UI all the time. They're changing lighting all the time. Textures. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're changing.
So if you've had takes on what I've said, sorry, I'll read some questions. Yeah. Just kind of talking. I think the other major thing that he brought up, right, was that he wants
getting player testing for their bugs and stuff. I mean, there's still a lot of bugs in the game, but there's like hot fixes that come out like almost every other day fixing those things. Some of them are skin related as well. There's a lot of bugs when it comes to skins that they have to fix. Like, it's not it's not an easy process, and they have to find these things before they can fix them. So, and they don't have the same team that they had before. So, getting player feedback, sort of like most games that are doing this nowadays, they're using the player base to get that feedback, so when they finally release the game, it'll be in a better spot. I mean, it is difficult.
Early with in-person lands and like World Championship and stuff, right?
As somebody who's made a game before,
I think that like that would be awesome, right? I think that like that is a very expensive thing to do.
Yeah, I think just for the fans at home, it's millions. Like it's not cheap for us to put on LAN events, pro leagues, and the staffing that goes with that. As someone's been with the esports scene for a long time, it isn't a cheap endeavor to run it. You can do it on a budget, but it's not going to be the same level that people would expect. And again, I guess
I agree with what they're saying, but I don't think there's any level of expectation.
that is true.
I think Hi-rez got so used to spending so much money on esports that they don't know how to run like a bare bones. What people expect bare bones. I expect like 4 total casters, 1 or 2 people doing camera work. I don't need a host. I don't need anything else. I don't need a bunch of extra people. I don't like. I feel like there could be a super bare bones where they're still spending money. It's still expensive, but it's not millions and millions.
Oh my God, can we discuss this? It's too early for a pro league right now.
Yeah,
That I heard. I did tell you something. This was
we're quite there yet.
We're not there yet. But did we not have an esports scene in like right out of closed beta in Smite 1? Because I feel like we're more now like we're like an esports scene had already been developed in the game, and you got your what are we at? We're at 9 months off. I feel like now is the time. Like I strongly disagree. Yeah, there was esports before there was an SPL in Smite 1.
He's talking about Smite 1. This is, I guess, my wheelhouse because they're talking about Pro League now, which a lot of you guys probably know me for and knew me for. Weekends. I mean, he's talking about Smite 1, but even just for Smite 2, we had a Vegas land that was super hype and brought us the biggest player count we've had in all of Smite 2. People were interested in the game because of it. They knew that this tournament was going to happen at the end of last year. Like, there were still a lot of pro players interested. The competitive scene was like actually not too bad. We were kind of all fine with that based on where we were before, with there being no SPL and everything. So it's possible like you could still drive interest into that kind of thing. That did cost a lot of money. I'm not saying that necessarily need to do something that big, but also maybe we'll talk about this a little bit. It has to be kind of organic as well, and the truth, being brutally honest, just trying to be objective when it comes to like Smite Prime, because they're putting like 10K a month into Smite Prime, I believe. If people were interested in that kind of thing, it would be organically growing or doing better than it is. But there just doesn't seem to be the audience for it right now. One, probably because a lot of people have been turned off because they canceled SPL, and a lot of people that were interested in watching high-end competitive Smite just don't really care anymore. And a lot of the new players that are getting into the game probably just don't care about the higher end or like the competitive side of it, or the higher end rank side of it. Like, that shows with the Twitch viewership with like pro players and stuff. Like, so the new players probably don't care as much, and then of course the old fans probably aren't caring as much. So that's why, like, I think Smite Prime, it probably averages like 100 viewers on like Saturdays and stuff now. It was actually pretty decent before; it would get a few hundred, but now that everything's down, all the viewership is down. It's definitely down as well. So I don't know. Like, I think if people cared about like this high end competitive Smite, there would be even more viewership for that. But it just kind of isn't there. So even if they were to do something right now, unless it was like big, it coincided with a big patch, a lot of hype, cool drops, a few cool new gods came out, good marketing, full release of the game, something crazy like that, and they announced a big tournament, that could do it. I think that could really do it. But if they were just to be like tomorrow, they'd be like, yeah, coming in with the next patch where we're releasing ESET, we're also announcing a tournament in a few months for like, let's just say $50K to the first place winner. I don't know if it actually garnered that much more viewership than current like Smite Prime would.
I don't understand. Like, I don't process where we're not ready for it.
Right. I think that like we're, you know, at some point I would love to be there, right? Like I came into this company as like an esports fanatic, right? Like that's part of what got me the job in the first place, right? I love esports. I see the value of esports. I was one of the people who was arguing the most against esports getting more wound down the way it did, but you know, I wasn't.
I mean, I assume they can't afford it too, but they put in a lot of money into like offline shit. It doesn't have to be in person, or even if it is in person, it could just be you bring in like the top 4 teams to your studio, not to like a big event.
Yeah, sort of like
that costs money, but we're not talking millions. So I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to go about actually having it, even if it's a much lower production value, because I expect like nothing basically.
The calls back then.
With how much the game is monetized now, could they like theoretically make their money back from something like that? If they were to do as well as they did in like Vegas, we went from 5,000 players or whatever, 4,000 players before Vegas to literally 22,000 peak, and then like a consistent 8 or 9K after that for like a couple months. Like theoretically, could they make a decent amount of that money back? Like you're using it as a marketing expense, right? Like to try and get a big player base again, to show your product, to show everything. Like obviously, if it's too much money and they're going to something like Vegas and they have to spend millions and millions to house everybody, to run the event, blah blah blah. Of course, that it's going to be hard to make your money back, but something like a little bit more bare bones, but in that same vein.
And it's just, you know, it is more expensive than you think it is.
I would point out the thing that people mentioned about esports is when the chances of getting greater support for community tournaments in the midterm. There is a lot of active community tournaments going on right now over in Europe and North America that are getting constant support. Smite Prime is a regular thing that has.
Dude, Stream said, how much do you think keeping Smite 1 servers is a year? I don't know how much that shit is, but Twitch just apparently took down a bunch of their streaming servers, and that's fucking Twitch, who like Amazon owns the servers they use.
Streaming servers.
So it's got to be pretty fucking.
I'm not 100% on this, but I'm sure streaming servers are so much more to live stream video content is so much more taxing than running a game server. I said I'm not 100%, and then I said I'm sure, so I kind of contradicted myself. But I'm pretty sure. Maybe a technician can.
Can't be that cheap.
Fact check
that actually has their finals once a month. They do a circuit. We've also got AGL, Albion Giants League.
Part of the reason I think Korea stopped having streaming, being able to stream on Twitch is because of that. Amazon literally couldn't afford it because like they just weren't making their money back, and it just cost so much money to stream.
Westall, which does RAF leagues, Fineokay Smite League over in Europe too, plus individual ones that run in France and Germany. So
okay, but these aren't money tournaments. Like, I understand at a community level, it makes people feel valued when you're like, hey, we're running a tournament.
I think Hindu is just saying that they're supporting it, like they're supporting all these tournaments, which they are. But the problem is not that; it's that there just isn't interest in it. There's just not an ecosystem that's like interested in this kind of thing right now for Smite 2. And it all coincides together. Drops, the fact that like there's not a lot of meat and potatoes for like the veteran players and the high-end players. Not a lot of stuff to strive for. Like if I knew that there was going to be a big tournament in 6 months, that's just like inherent interest in me wanting to get better at the game. Although I'm already the best. But you know what I mean? Like anybody else, like all you noobs out there. I'm sorry. But, you know, that kind of thing, like, it all comes together to just kind of make I don't want to say vapid, but, like, not as important. Like, it's just not there, you know what I mean? Because, like, this kind of thing, if they were to support these kind of leagues and there was interest in it, then we'd all be chilling, you know what I mean? But
your region, here's some gems.
You need that interest.
That doesn't scale outside of the initial good, warm feeling that you give those specific players. No one watches this shit. No one cares. No one knows it exists. You need it to be worth knowing it exists.
And as for it, they all do get support and promotion.
It's also about whether they care that it exists. And I think a lot of because there's so much focus on new player retention, and also just like a lot of, they've done a good job with it lately. I think they've made actually some higher skill ceiling stuff in the game, but just a lot of coddling and lowering the skill ceiling and all that. Like the players that are going to be interested in the game just don't really care about that because they're playing a game that is actually maybe easier now. You know what I mean? So
wherever possible, when they've requested too, and you can actually see those things going in game.
You've attracted that type of player.
We're not just going to throw money somewhere.
You've attracted like that Marvel Rivals type of player that just wants to play casually.
I need to see some sort of investment and growth before we continue to push further. But also, we've not got an insurmountable budget to be able to spend. We are spending at least $10,000 plus a month in terms of cash prizes, as well as diamonds and additional support.
See, but that is the issue. $10,000 a month isn't a lot. $100K in fucking October, November, December, or January is a lot. But you're like, in my opinion, you're wasting money by putting 10K in a month. Because like, all right, they say they're spending 10K a month. I don't know how many, if that's EU and NA. Like NA has or Prime has a 7K a month tournament, right? I'm assuming it doesn't just pay out first place. So if it pays out the top 4 places, then the top 5 players after a month don't even earn $1,000, right? I'm guessing, which means after taxes, they're earning like $600 a month. Nobody, like, that's not interesting enough to watch. That's the problem. If you tell me, hey, these dudes have been playing for 6-7 months straight, the top team is about to earn 20K each, I'm watching that shit. If I'm seeing 5 players make 20K while playing the game, I'm watching that shit. Big. That's what I will watch. And what I would like.
Those money numbers like drive, like, it just drives so much. It comes to like the international for Dota. The original Smite won, the first Smite won Worlds, $2.6 million prize pool because it was crowdfunded. Like, it actually just is so huge. Because just anybody, when they hear that, like, I could tell my Aunt Susie, I don't even have an Aunt Susie, but I could tell her, oh yeah, there's going to be a video game tournament where they're playing as gods and goddesses from mythology. You know about Zeus, right? Aunt Susie. There's going to be a prize pool for that tournament of, like, let's just say $1.5 million. She's going to hear $1.5 million. She's going to be like, what the heck? I want to see this. What the hecky?
Restream it. I would tell the people to watch.
Dude, so.
Yeah, I mean,
am I wrong? Like, you guys can tell me. Are you guys interested in the Smite Prime thing for 7K a month? Are you guys watching that shit? Would you watch if it was, an end of the year 100K tournament, even if it was just online? Am I wrong? Like, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I don't, like, it doesn't matter to me. Bro, what the fuck is Tekken? Shoto. I like what they're, like, the idea behind Smite Prime, but that should be second to the Hi-rez league.
That's true.
That should be extra. That's my issue.
For people that want to play competitive Smite, I think there are outlets there, right?
Yeah.
I think that, like,
they just want more. That's what I get that.
Yeah, and for people that want to, like, watch the top level of plays, like, Smite Prime is pretty solid, right? Like, is it at the same level of, like, the old SPL? No, but it's like basically like the highest.
Yeah, it is competitive Smite where you can see the games casted, casted live the weekends alongside being able to see some of the top players.
Creators can get together and do a pool where you all put money in, and the winner team gets the pot. Brother, there's no money for creators in this game. Like, what do you expect creators to put in? Like, creators don't have extra money in this game. Nobody's pulling 5K viewers. If I was pulling 5K viewers daily all the time, I would run my own fucking league and I wouldn't whine about it. And then I'd make fun of them for not running their own league. But that is not the case. I'm at 500 viewers.
What are we saying is true.
I think
to be fair, though, Weak3n did just do a subathon and got to 12K subs. So there's still some money in it. There's still some money in it for sure. But yeah, I mean, the essence of what he's saying is definitely true. There's just not.
Yeah, I think that
money
esports in general has just become like
right now.
a difficult thing across the industry.
I think a lot changed
over
the
already
last
40 minutes
years.
long, and I'm only halfway through Weak3n's video. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but
esports, to be honest, in terms of like growth in investment, but also looking at the outside of the investment of like what is the payoff for this and where the comeuppance is and what the actual cost ends up being involved. So
yeah, I mean, like,
there's a lot changed through multiple different games and industries.
Overwatch League couldn't make it. We had like NBA.
Because of how you guys run your shit fucking leagues. We tried to become the NBA. All we had to do is stay online. The perks of video games are everyone can compete online. We don't have to go anywhere.
2K built like a whole New York pseudo thing. It was really cool.
Probably a lot of people out there, you guys probably disagree with me, but I thought the move to LAN was like, I think it's easy to say in hindsight that it was awful, but I think a lot of people say that those are their favorite years of SPL, Season 6, Season 7. Season 7, of course, COVID, so it's hard to say, but like, when we got so much content from that, I don't know. I look back at it fondly. Of course, I was participating in it, and I was getting paid handsomely to do it, so, I'm biased, but...
Like, are we not going to talk about the Smite Pro League where everyone lived and you guys wasted like $3 to $5 million a year for no fucking reason? Like...
Say no reason, but
I think that, like, most esports nowadays is being, like, funded by a couple companies with stake ties, right? Like, and it's...
What? Where the... What?
Although the removal of EU and NA regionals for, like, the competitive scene, I think was horrible. Like, that is just such a big driving factor in all esports. If you go to watch any esport, Valorant, League of Legends, CSGO, or CS2, whatever it's called, Dota, anything, the region versus region, like rivalry and stuff, like just go to the chat. It's literally NA sucks, EU smells, NA smells, brush your teeth, that kind of thing. It's just nonstop. Like, it just drives so much, and this applies to sports as well. Like, the rivalries are what drive the viewership.
Are we lost? Do we have no connection? Like, are we only playing what? Wait, what? Every game I can think of has tournaments, bro. Even these fucking extraction shooters have tournaments. What? That's just completely incorrect, right? Like, what? The view botters are down to single digits. I won't say why, but I said it before. If you're view botting the Smite category, you're gonna get cooked instantly. I'll tell you that right now.
It is a marketing expense. You have to look at it that way. But marketing expense has like grown tremendously to the point where even like Riot's not running LCS the way they used to. Like, they combine multiple leagues together, and everybody that is a North American League player is like.
But Riot is still in person. He's saying ties to Saudi for esports, but that's like its own other thing. They aren't funding original Apex. Like, they're running their own shit. They didn't start funding Apex. They aren't funding all the fighting game scenes. They aren't funding ABI. They aren't funding Tarkov. They aren't funding Tarkov Arena. They aren't funding COD. Like, what? And the marketing? We don't need like, what are we talking about, dude? This is what I'm saying. If you're running one big tournament, you have it in the fucking game. People will just be interested because it's more money. Overwatch esports comeback is heavily. Oh, I didn't even know Overwatch was back in esports. I thought that shit was still cooked. But like every game has esports. So saying state tie, I get like if he's specifically referencing Overwatch, he should have said that. But if we're looking at like the video game category, like Fortnite still does their shit, League does their shit. Hasn't Rust done like tournament? Like not.
I mean, the essence of what Kilgoon is talking about is true. Like esports is just not as like people aren't as interested as they were before, and it was like booming, especially like during COVID and everything. And there was so many businesses and investors getting into it that have probably dropped out or lost a lot of money from it. You know, example A is how Hi-rez ran like the LAN league and everything. So what Kilgoon is talking about is pretty true. And I also just think like gaming in general on Twitch is just people aren't as interested anymore. Like the biggest streamers on the platform are not going to be like actual gamers. Sometimes maybe they'll play games, like maybe Kai Cenat plays games sometimes and that kind of thing. But like those aren't going to be the big streamers on the platform. And like you go to the people that probably used to average like 30 or 40K just turning on their stream playing any game. Somebody like a Shroud probably doesn't get that anymore playing games. Like, and a lot of those people that were interested in gaming before were on the platform or on Twitch and stuff and started probably slowly drifting towards these other streamers that garner more viewership. Because when somebody's popular and has a lot of viewers, they're more interesting and entertaining to watch because you're watching them with a community and you feel like you can like either if they're stupid, you can make fun of them together. If they're really funny, you can laugh together, like all that kind of thing. Like there's a lot of people with low viewership, in my opinion, and I'm not including myself in this because I don't think I'm this, but there's a lot of people with really low viewership that are really entertaining and funny, just as entertaining and funny as some of these top streamers that just didn't get lucky and don't have the same viewership. So people aren't as interested because there's not as many people watching. And since there aren't as many people watching, less people are going to tune in, like that kind of thing.
But like money things with creators. FIFA does. I've seen Minecraft shit where they're doing stuff with money. Valorant does money. Dota does esports. Marvel Rivals does. It's not even real esports to Rivals. They say the game isn't even competitive. They still do money into it. I'm so confused. Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Apex. I'm going down the list, by the way. I'm always skipping like single player games. World of Warcraft, even they did shit. I don't know. Like they do their esports still. Their fucking arena. I don't know if Diablo does everything. Overwatch is here. Rainbow Six Siege does fucking esports. Like, am I drunk? Tarkov doesn't have esports, but it's done tournaments. I'm very lost in this take. I'm like, I strongly disagree that it requires heavy marketing or tons of extra money. Do it online, one big LAN, make the winners make money. Everyone who loses doesn't make money. Any game that moves,
it's got to be organic though. Like I think that's maybe where I disagree with Weak3n. Like all those games are big games with huge player bases where people are interested in that kind of thing. Like they care about it, so they're able to market it and use it. Still, even though again, like I do think the essence of what he's talking about, esports is definitely down to where it was from where it was. Yeah, a lot of the like all of those games just have that organic like interest and care, so they can get away with it.
Franchising fails without heavy investment. Franchising is dog shit. I even said in the video, I don't mean real SPL, I mean online shit. LAN doesn't even have to be like the esports arena. The LAN can just be the players come and play on a LAN. I'm just
as exciting as LCS used to be, and you can tell it's probably because they were spending a lot of money on it, and they were like, it's not returning the way that they wanted to. So I definitely see the value in FPL. Don't get me wrong, I see the value in esports, but it's just
bro. Even if I mean. They could run it online and like force players to use webcam. Like even if like Smite Prime had required the people to use their webcam just to give some like personality and stuff, like that might help at least a little bit. Anyway, I was just thinking.
It's
no, yeah, I don't even mean a LAN. Like you just said, they don't need a LAN initially. I don't think they do either. I think it could be 6 months online tournament top teams. 6 months online tournament top teams. Top teams from both those go to LAN. The LAN can be in their studio, in one of their offices, with good camera coverage, 4 casters, which they could just bring in community casters for like a $200 weekend, and then we're good. That's it. That's it. I understand it may be a little easier, sound a little easier than it is, but we don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars in the shit for us to be interested. I promise you. I don't know how Rocket League does.
They got to get a lot of this organic growth as well from like new people and like getting new people to care, because like a year break from this kind of thing, like most Smite pros that I know have moved on. They've gotten real J words and have moved on with their lives, and like they probably barely even play Smite anymore. Haven't played in a long time. Same thing with like the casters, for example. I'm sure I know of a few casters who have gotten real J words and also just like moved on. Like maybe they would come back as just like as a fun thing to do for a weekend, play like cast a LAN or something like that. But they probably haven't played the game that much in a while, so probably wouldn't even know too much about it at the current time. But so like they'd have to get it from like new stuff, which I think is their plan. That's what they want. They want to capture that new audience. Maybe like young kids they want young kids to want to play Smite too. 5 years from now, they want somebody who have been playing it for 5 years and been addicted to it and loved it, that kind of thing.
Does their shit. I know Fortnite stuff is in game, which I don't know if this is true. They mentioned having in game like solo queue competitive tournament things, And someone said that they can't move along with that because whoever was doing it is gone. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I
But
think
they could do that if somebody was building it, then someone else could build it.
Innocent
Interesting to see how the entire industry has reacted to esports over the past 5 years, right? So, there's one other thing here. We can also talk about needing more interesting and fun items. He was just starting to talk about that. I think as I was because I didn't watch the last couple minutes of the thing.
That is true.
I would say I think that we have some interesting items. I think that we
I agree. There are some. Few. Very few. Some.
can always do more.
It's not that the items are like not, it's that they aren't interesting anymore. A lot of the items are from just Smite 1 and we play with them for 10 years. I think that's really the crux of the issue here for somebody like Weak3n. Like, you just play with these items for so long. There are a lot of cool, interesting, especially active items in Smite 2. That's part of the reason I love the game so much. That's why I think Assault is like so fun and stuff like that. There's so many, like if you get a tank in Smite 2 Assault, like you can just build active items and it's a ton of fun. But there needs to be more of that. More new items that we've never had before in Smite 1, including active items. So it's just that they're not interesting anymore. If this game came out tomorrow and you had all these same items and you looked at them compared to League, compared to Dota, compared to even like Deadlock and stuff, like the items would be cool. Like you're just so used to them that they're just not fresh or cool anymore.
Disagree.
My mindset is more active items, by the way. I'm not thinking regular items. I'm thinking how cool the active items can be in the other MOBAs is where my mindset goes.
I strongly agree with that take. I'm kind of neutral on it, right? I think that like we do need more exciting things to do. We need some gameplay shakeups.
I think they are.
Hopefully we'll be able to talk to you about soon, right? I think one of the differences for how we're approaching development right now is we're less like we need to ship X feature on Y date. Instead, we're saying more. It's more like a Scrum agile form of development. If you're a nerd, and we're like, what are the top priorities? What are
Predecessor doesn't have active items, and Predecessor's not growing, brother. Unfortunately, I like that they made the gameplay better, but the game isn't doing anything. Unfortunately, nobody outside of the core community cares about that game. Like, bro, we're still sitting at the same player numbers. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. Look at this. I enjoyed the game. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not going. It's just
okay. Well, I'm not here to shit on Predecessor, but like I do think like again, Deadlock probably just has taken a lot of these players because it's a very similar game. Probably only people care more about Predecessor are like the diehard fans from before, or somebody that really cares about how it looks, like the graphics of it. Like, but I think most competitive players probably just do not care about that. They just want a fun, high skill cap game in a similar vein, which is a third-person MOBA that has verticality. So I think that's part of the reason they're struggling. But
hanging out.
I mean, I don't
the
really
game will hang out as long as they can afford it. They saved the gameplay 100%, but outside of their new characters, map sucks.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole video. There's 20 more minutes if you guys want to go watch Weak3n's video. It'll be in the description, of course. They talk about the esports. I kind of gave you guys my take on it, and I might actually play in Smite Prime with a team. I have some former pros that maybe are interested. Don't want to say exactly because I don't know if it's happening. But the only reason I'm going to play is because I'm going to be playing a different role. I don't really have fun with solo that much anymore. I've been playing a lot of mid and ADC, and those are a lot of fun, and I'd be down to play those in a competitive setting, but not committing a lot of time to it just because I've been doing a lot of other stuff like on stream, playing a lot of other games, so all that. But yeah, I mean, I think there is a path forward. I do think they should continue the patching when it comes to like patching bi-weekly and just making the game better slowly but surely. I say slowly, but it is pretty fast with how much they're like adding each 2 weeks, you know? With the amount of people they have working there. I mean, you just look at other games, like some games, like they add a new character every like 3 months, or maybe like every once half year, like, or like just aren't releasing the same amount of content. And it's crazy because they can get away with it because they have such huge player bases and stuff. And also, I've been playing some like all these different games, especially like Val, bro. People act like Hi-rez is literally just trying to milk you for all your worth before they go out of business, bro. Val's skins, it's like $140 for their new skin pack. It's like $50 for a new knife. Like, it is so expensive for these different colored pixels on my screen. And of course, sometimes I buy them because, like, you know, I got to get the new skin. It gives you aimbot. But it's just funny that to just think about it. It's like, wait, so if the really thriving big games are spending or charging a lot of money for their skins, and also apparently the game that's going under and just trying to milk you for your money is also charging a certain amount of money. Like, yeah, so it's just funny. But yeah, I mean, I honestly think the way Hi-rez is like with like monetization and everything is way overblown. You'd get the complete wrong idea if you like visited the Smite subreddit or just looked at like the general like tone and sense of how people feel about the game when it comes to that. Like, but then in reality, when you play the game or like actually look at like what you can do and the numbers and the free diamonds and stuff you can get, like, it's just a complete wrong idea. But anyway, I guess that's enough Hi-rez shilling. I mean, I feel like I was pretty objective and pretty honest throughout the video, and that's basically it. I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, so we're we're going to end it there. I hope esports can grow organically and we can get back to a spot where maybe we can have like a big tournament. I would love to be able to go to another Hi-rez Smite big tournament and meet all you guys and see everyone again. Like, I look back at that so fondly. It's you know, kind of makes me emotional. I would love to do it again someday, and I hope that we can get there. But it's gotta happen organically. And though the game is getting better every patch, we just need more interest. We need more care. We need more people to want to watch streams or be interested in the higher end of Smite, competitive, all that. So yeah, I'm gonna continue playing Smite 2 as long as I have fun with it. And like I said, I do. I'm gonna continue it. I switched here. That's my plan, but I'm also going to play other games, and I'm going to try and get better at them. I scrimmed in Deadlock because I signed up for a solo queue Deadlock tourney, and I scrimmed, and it scratched an itch like this, like 1,000 mosquitoes had bit me. It scratched an itch I haven't felt in a little bit, and I just want to improve at that game. Improvement is like everything. It's so addicting for somebody like me, who's more into like the competitive side. So I'm going to be playing that. I'm probably going to be playing it a lot. I'm also going to be playing Valorant a lot for the same reason, and I have a lot of fun with it. Playing scary games or whatever else that may come my way. Playing Silent Hill right now. If you guys are interested in that, it'll be on my main channel, like my stream, and also on the second channel, the VODs will be. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to continue to do that, and I hope you guys support me and have fun with me. But that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe and healthy as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know your comments and your questions and your concerns and your critique and your feedback and everything about everything that we talked about in this video down in the comments, okay? Anyway, bye guys. Bye-bye.